praise the wide. Praise. Yes, Mr. President. I guess we should get started.
Let's strike a match, my dear. Set your dapper to the open wide. Let the passion of your heart inside some flames of love.
First of all, thank you all for submitting your questions. This was the 500 follower celebration Q&A. So thank you all for helping me get to 500 followers. Thank you for building this community with me. It's a great place to be. There's some interesting questions, some funny questions, some serious questions. But nonetheless, we're going to have fun. And the first question today comes from Jamie20112. Thank you, Jamie, for submitting a question. How are you today? Hi, it's Jamie20112 here. Just curious for some general info about who Harvey is. Think about introducing yourself, smiley face. Well, Jamie, and everyone else, my name is Harvey Larvey. It's actually not true. My name is... So with that out of the way, yes, I am a streamer on Twitch. I love NASCAR and mixed martial arts. I grew up in Ohio, Cincinnati to be specific, and moved out to Arizona about 2 years ago.
Excuse me.
I have a beautiful wife, Elizabeth, who I've been married to for almost 10 years. Coming up here in 2022, we'll be married for 10 years. Love her to death. She's a great gal. I'm very happy to be married to her. I'm very shocked that she's still married to me, to be honest with you, with how big of a dork I am. But again, I love sports. Big Philadelphia Eagles fan, Cincinnati Reds fan, as well as a big NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar fan, and mixed martial arts across the board. A fun fact about me is that I have hyperhidrosis, which is a ailment in which my sweat glands are actually more productive than most people. So my hands, I don't know if that'll show up on the camera. My hands are very sweaty, as you can see. I'm not even doing anything. I'm just sitting in a chair in front of some lights, and I'm already sweating. So there you go. Fun fact about me. I hope that's enough. If you want to know anything, you can always ask. All right, next question. This is from Havocal. Havocal, thank you for the question. If you dig a 6-foot hole, how deep is that hole? Six feet. I hope. This next question is from Mr. Irish. Mr. Irish, thank you for the question. How did Lord Wide choose you as his prophet? Well, one day I was walking through the local Walmart, and this being comes up to me and smells my armpits, and he says, "Sir, you have the best smelling armpits I've ever smelled." And I don't remember much after that, but I remember waking up in this chair and not being able to get up. And he called me on my flip phone and said, "This is your role now. This is your life." And I've been here ever since. So, hope that answers that question. Next question. Drake's Mix Ford 101. Thank you so much for your question. And the question is, PlayStation or Xbox? This is a funny and interesting question for me because I've had both at various points. I started out as a PlayStation person, had a PS1 and a PS2 back to back. But then I got an Xbox, and then I got an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One. I haven't got the newest Xbox, the Series X, Series S, whatever they want to call it nowadays. But all in all, listen, console wars are stupid, and I think you need to play where you want. That being said, Team Xbox all the way. Next question. How did you get so positive and wholesome? You must have had a great upbringing. This one is from Canna Banana. Canna Banana, thank you so much for the very flattering question. I appreciate it. It just comes from my life experiences, if I'm honest. I don't really see myself as positive and wholesome. I just try to be as honest with people as I can and help them come away from interactions with me better than they walked into it, if that makes any sense. You just treat others the way you want to be treated, and that's something that was instilled in me at a very young age and something I've tried to keep with me throughout all of my experiences. And I've had some real downs in grade school and middle school and high school, as well as church youth group, that shaped who I was and brought me into the person that I am today. And along with all of that, I think just observing the internet and the way it is nowadays and how much toxicity there is in the gaming community and just in the general internet communities that are out there, I just want to be different than that. I cannot stand the amount of people that get so bent out of shape over people having differing opinions than them. So most of the time, I just try to go non-confrontational. That's not to say that we can have discussions, that we can't have discussions or talk and disagree. But the important thing is that both people come away feeling better than they did walking into whatever happened. So just treat others the way you want to be treated. I think that's a really good motto, and it is a good way to diffuse bad situations. So I hope that answers your question. Jellybean 0903. Thank you, Jellybean, for your question. Jellybean 0903 asks, what's your favorite color? That's not a basic color. I've thought about this, and I'm gonna have to say neon pink. I like pink a lot. And it was actually my first favorite color when I was a kid, and was the color that I got teased for liking as a kid because it was a girl color. But you know what? I've grown up. I'm a dude now. I can make my own decisions, and pink is my official answer. All right. I hope that satisfies your question. Next question is from Kaneko. Kaneko, thank you so much for your question. Now, I know you love Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers, great show. What character do you think I'm more like? LOL. Here's a question. Here's an answer. I think, and I hope you don't think this is a cop out, I think you're a little bit of everyone, if I'm honest. A little bit of Louise, a little bit of Tina, a little bit of Linda, a little bit of Bob, a little bit of Gene. I think you're a little bit of everyone. And I think you're the perfect mix. Somebody, when they made you, poured in all of those little ingredients, and it came out the perfect pie named Kaneko is everyone from Bob's Burgers. I hope that satisfies your question. Next question. What anime still lingers in your mind? Or love still? Why? This is from Akiza. Akiza, thank you for your question. So I'm not a giant anime fan. I've got to be upfront about that. But Castlevania, which I haven't finished yet. I finished 1 through 3. I still need to watch season 4. But Castlevania to me was the anime that kind of the straw that broke the camel's back and got me into shows like that. I love the casting. I love Richard Armitage as Trevor Belmont. I think it is a really, really good job. I also love the atmosphere. I love the demonic elements too. I love the way that they portray Dracula and how his whole story and his whole arc is very sympathetic. Alucard is also amazing. And just the villains and the backstabbing and everything that goes on in that show. It's almost perfect. It really is. It's so good, and I love it. So Castlevania is my answer, and I love it. Thank you, Akiza, for your question. Next question. This one's from Dubsy. Dubsy, thank you for your question. And it reads, pineapple on pizza. No. Has streaming had any profound effects on you emotionally? Has streaming had any profound effects on you emotionally? Love, Big Daddy Andrew 720. Big Daddy Andrew, thank you so much for your question. I think it's allowed me to be happier with who I am at times. I wouldn't say I'm fully to that point yet to where I'm fully happy with myself, but as somebody who struggles with self-worth issues, I think it's been a big help with that and helping me feel like I belong in this world and that I feel like I'm not just this big nerd out here floating aimlessly looking for friends and people to have something in common with. It's really given me some emotional stability, if anything. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Next question. This one's from Ravenswood Death. Thank you so much for your question, Ravenswood. What do you do after your Twitch streams? If you mean literally, so when I close a stream, when I say bye, which I'm terrible at intros and exits of streams. If you've ever watched one of my streams, you'll know how bad I am. But what I do typically will be shut down the stream. Obviously, I'll let the exit music play for a little bit, and then I'll typically look at the Twitch metrics and see when people came in, how we did in terms of viewership and when the most people were there. I'll also go back and watch the VOD as well to see how I did in enunciation and just being a personality, as well as watch the VOD to see if there were any video or technical hiccups that I need to watch out for or adjust for next time. And just kind of do like a debrief with myself. It usually takes about 30 minutes to an hour for me to do that. And if there's any clips on my mind, which I'm terrible at clipping stuff, so I apologize, guys, for not having a ton of clips. But that's usually what I'll do afterwards, is kind of do about a 30-minute to an hour-long debrief afterwards. And if I have anything that I need to let the mods know about for next time, I'll also do that as well. So, yeah. Next question. What is a life skill you used to lack that through hard work and development you've seen improvement? I think what sums this answer up the best is interacting with other people. I find it hard to explain myself with that because I don't want to be too vague about it. But to me, streaming and just being around people in general has helped me have conversational skills, have interactional skills, being able to recognize people's emotions and how they convey themselves in certain situations. This may sound like all basic human stuff to exist, but honestly, it's taken me a really long time to learn how to talk with people and have a back and forth conversation without feeling like I want to die every 5 seconds. So I would definitely say my people skills have gotten so much better. That comes from customer service jobs, and jobs where I've had to talk with people on the phone and in person quite a bit, and through streaming as well. Getting to know people and just interfacing with multiple people on any given night when I'm streaming has helped me become a better conversationalist and somebody who is easier to talk to than my awkward old self about 10, 15 years ago. Do you have some big future plans? This one comes from General Kipnobi. Thank you so much, General, for your question. Second of all, I usually don't look too far into the future. I have some big goals in the future, but I usually don't look at them too often just because I know that I'm far away from them. But if I had to say anything, I mean, it would be to make Twitch partner someday, which requires a lot. I mean, that's 75 average viewers and some other stats, but I think we can get there. It's just going to take a while. But yeah, I mean, Twitch partner would be a great thing that I would love to get to. I just think it would be a good step forward for me and the community as well, and put us on one more pedestal towards the slow climb to the top. So yeah, Twitch partner would be amazing, honestly. Next question reads, J.A. Games. Thank you, J.A. Games, for your name. I don't know if that was an error or not, but thank you. Oh boy. Okay, this next one comes from Anonymous, and it reads, if all of your viewers fell off a cliff into a volcano and you only had oh jeez, okay, let me start this over. If all of your viewers fell off a cliff into a volcano and you only had enough Uno reverse cards to save 5, who would you save? No using it to prevent the accident or get more cards, any other loopholes, and a VIP is hypothetically executed every 30 seconds. Thank you, Anonymous, for your question. Lastly, I would jump off the cliff right after all of you so that we could die and be together forever in the land of wide. Bet you didn't expect that answer, did you? Next question. Would you like to play Dungeons and Dragons? This is from Anonymous. Thank you for the question. Maybe someday. I don't have a huge interest in Dungeons and Dragons, but I just I know some people who played it and have worked with some people who played it as well, and they really enjoy it, but I just can't seem to get into it. So maybe someday I'd like to try it, but for now, I don't think so. I don't think so, honestly. But it's an awesome community, and it seems to really do well on Twitch, and a lot of people seem to like it. So that's awesome that it has so many fans. Best food in this planet for you. This one comes from Fruity. Thank you, Fruity, for your question. Best food on this planet for me. This might come out of left field, and some of you may know this, but I think a Philadelphia cheesesteak is my favorite food item. A good Philly cheesesteak with some good cheese whiz on it, maybe some green peppers on there, and some fries on the side, a nice crisp soda to go with it. Nothing better, trust me. This one reads, a random question from Hawaii224. What's the first game you ever played? Hawaii, thank you so much for your question. Second of all, the first game I ever played was, what was it? The original Mario Brothers for NES. It was the combo pack with Duck Hunt, and I played those two games non-stop all the time. I was not very good at either one, but that was what was in the house and the first console that my family owned, and it was a lot of fun. I still to this day love Duck Hunt on an old CRT TV. It's a lot of fun. Steamy Muffin asks, what initially got you into streaming? Steamy Muffin, thank you so much for your question. And it's a tough question. I thought back and tried to think about what my initial motivations were. It's kind of tough to... it's kind of tough to put together exactly what led me to doing this, but I originally I wanted to be a YouTuber and make YouTube videos. There's actually, my old channel is still up on YouTube. It's called Wild Bill Plays, but initially I wanted to be a YouTuber, and that just kind of fell off the rails when my computer just, it wouldn't do very well in terms of the editing process, so I decided to give that up. And then as far as streaming goes, I like to play video games and I like to chat about them, and I think that was kind of my initial motivation, but I also saw a lot of other streamers doing it as well. I wanted to be like them, and yeah, so I think it was just a general interest in video games and sharing them with other people and having people to chat with, because I wasn't getting a whole lot of that in my day-to-day life, so I figured why not jump to the internet and do that. And initially it was rough. Initially it's always rough when you start streaming, especially when you start from like nobody, when you have nobody following you except like really close friends and family. So your viewer count's gonna hover around 0 to 2 maybe, and most of the time it was at 0, but stuck with it, and here I am. So yeah, that's kind of, I think, the best way I can sum up why I started. This next question, kind of a three-parter. Thank you, Teretic, for this question. Cheated the system, my friend. That's more than one question. I'm gonna tell Wyatt about this, and he'll know. I'm just kidding. You're fine. What got you started into streaming, and why did you listen to it? I think I kind of answered that question, so I'll go ahead and move past that. What keeps you motivated to keep streaming? How did you get your first 10 followers? Much love to you, beautiful mustache man. Thank you, Teretic, again for your question. So what keeps you motivated to keep streaming? Honestly, it's, gosh, this is gonna sound really cringy and cliche, but it's honestly all of you guys. The viewers are what make it worth it, and finding commonalities within your community is so paramount to that. I think without you guys, this would obviously just not work. So I think you all keep me motivated to keep going, and finding enjoyment in these games that I play and common enjoyment within our community is such a huge part of why I keep doing this. How do you get your first 10 followers? Well, let's see. I think it was friends and family mostly. That's kind of what I did, was I said, hey, come follow me, come watch me play video games. That's really all it is. And if you guys want to stop by and see me sometime, there you go. And I got 10 followers. So after the first 10, it is very difficult, especially if you're starting from scratch, or unless you are able to hitch your wagon to the back of a train that is moving very fast and has people to kind of support your own community. It's very difficult to get past that 10 follower mark. But like I said, friends and family, they're always key very early on. Next question from Anonymous. Who's the greatest MMA fighter of all time, and how big are his arms? I think you're talking about Chael P. Sonnen, the undefeated, undisputed middleweight champion of the world. Greatest arms, greatest charms, from West Linn, Oregon, the mean streets of West Linn, Oregon, where the P in Chael P. Sonnen stands for champion and undefeated. Is that who you're talking about? I think it might be. I'm going to go with that. That seems right. Next question. Which mod is your favorite, and why is it Judge? From Lauren. Lauren, thank you so much for your question. And Lauren, you're right. It's Judge. It's Judge. It's just Judge. How do you feel about the community you've made, and what made you start streaming? Nick Mavridis 2. Thank you so much for your question. So the second question I've kind of already answered, but the first question, how do you feel about the community I've made? First of all, correction, we've made it. We have all made it here together. I say that often, and I know people get tired of hearing it, but we have made this place together. So please, all of you, if you're watching this video, pat yourself on the back very hard, but not too hard. I need your backs well enough to watch the stream. So a firm pat on the back is what you deserve. But I feel great. I mean, we have a really wholesome and nice community here that supports each other and is very respectful of myself, our mods, and all the other members that we have here in the community. And we all have a common interest, and we want to make the world better. And that's all you can really ask for from a community. But you guys go well beyond that to just being amazing people, an incredible group of beings that allows everyone to be themselves and brings out the best in people. So I couldn't ask for anything better, couldn't dream of anything better. So I feel over the moon about all of you guys. You guys are incredible. Please do not sell yourself short. You guys built this place just as much as I did. So here's to you all. My liquid death goes up to all of you. Raise whatever you're drinking together, and we can toast to yourselves. Last question from Anonymous. If you could tell a beginner streamer one thing, what would it be? End it on a doozy. This is a very difficult thing to answer because there's so many pieces of advice for streamers early on that picking one thing is very difficult. That being said, if I had to just pick one thing, it would be to manage your expectations. What I mean by that, if I can just unpack that for a few moments here. The first thing you're going to have to understand is that when you start out, it's going to be rough. Even if you have a small following already built up somewhere else, say on Instagram or YouTube or something like that, it's still going to be rough starting fresh like that, unless you have a large fan base to just kind of pull over and bring in. So if you're starting from complete scratch, starting from the bottom, it's going to be very difficult for you to gain that audience as you move along, because there's so many layers to building yourself up. That's forming connections, networking, understanding what to do and what not to do in streaming. But also there's so much room for learning that it's good to use those early streams as experiments to understand what you're good at and what you're not good at. All of this forms into keeping your expectations realistic. You know, if you set a goal, like for instance, I set goals every year that I stream. I try to make them reasonable but obtainable because I would rather meet those goals than set out a humongous goal and not get to it. So set goals for yourself, but understand that, you know, it's okay if you don't hit them. It's okay. Just set realistic goals for growth so that you keep going, you keep motivating yourself to keep going. So if that means by the end of the year, into your first year streaming, you hit affiliate, if it means hitting 5 viewers, 10 viewers, whatever that means, shoot for it and try for it as best you can. But I want to hit up the other side of the coin too, because I would be very naive to not say something about this. When it comes to managing expectations, understand that not everybody is cut out for a streaming job or a streaming career. That's tough to say, and I know people don't want to hear that, but I feel like I need to say that because people don't tell you that when you start out. There is such a thing as toxic positivity, which means that you're afraid to tell somebody a negative. So I just want to put it out there that if you feel like streaming is not working, take a break or stop. And especially if you don't have a lot invested in it, if you take a break or stop, you lose nothing. Okay, you may have some momentum that you may lose, but simply explain to your few people that you don't really feel like it's going in the right direction. You maybe just need a month or two to reset and kind of regroup. I've done that several times, and especially early on, breaks and extended like hiatuses, they work in keeping your brain fresh, because there's nothing worse than you logging on and streaming to nobody and being in a bad mood the entire time. People can see that. People see BS all the time. So they have very good detectors of when you look like you're not having fun. So if it means giving it up or stopping for a little bit or taking a break, please do those things. Don't be afraid to do that. But if you want to get back on that horse, by all means, do it. Keep your expectations within the ballpark that you're playing within. Do not act like by the first year you're going to get 100 viewers and get partner. That's not going to happen unless you're bringing a humongous audience from somewhere else. It's just not going to work. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I hope I answered everyone's question as best that I could. Thank you all for your questions. 25 questions. It's amazing, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for helping us hit 500 followers. That's an incredible milestone. And here's to the next 500 and beyond. You guys are what make this place so great. And I thank you, all of you, for being amazing people that it's an honor for me to stream alongside. So you all make this place great. Do not ever forget that. Don't you ever forget that you make this place great too. It's not just me. It's not just the mods. It's not just who we collab with. It's you guys as well. Also, to our lurkers out there who lurk and don't chat, you are just as important, and thank you all for your viewership. I really, really, really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this time. I'll leave you with this random clip that I found somewhere on the internet. I hope you all have a great evening, and I love you. Bye.
On the goddamn ground! guess what?